Hi Ty, I'm Kaylee.
Hi Kaylee, nice to meet you.
So I'm a sport performance enhancement specialist. So I'm just here to talk to you about your involvement in your sport and what you enjoy most about it. And we'll kind of just explore what's going on right now with you in soccer and see how you're feeling.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, so I guess we'll start by, if you could just give me some background about how you've been involved in soccer throughout your life.
Sure. I started when I was 7 or 8. My dad, always wanted me to get involved in sports, so he enrolled me in, just like developmental for fun soccer. And then when I turned 10 or 9, I started playing competitive. I started in maybe, the lower level because I was quite small. But then as I got older, I started to move up through the ranks, I guess, until I was playing on the top team in my club. Ended up captaining for that team. And then in high school, again, I'm in grade 12 now, but grade 9 and 10 was on the junior team. Actually, grade 10 I played up on the senior team for some games, and then grade 11 we made it to the provincials, and we came second, which was really impressive, and I was really happy. And then this last year I was captaining the high school team.
Okay, awesome. So you've kind of had a big balance between your soccer club and your high school club, and do you feel differently about the game in those two capacities? Yeah,
it's different because you get a lot more practice time with your club team versus your high school team.
Right.
So a lot of the players on the club team I've played with since I was 10 or 11. We've sort of moved up through the system together, and I think I've taken on more of a leadership role in high school because the players aren't. There's some great players, but they're not all at the exact same level. That's just sort of the nature of high school soccer.
Right.
So I think I've had to take more of a leadership role in, teaching people how to play, how to position themselves, as well as the coach. Whereas on the club team, that's been more left up to the coach, and I've been able to more to focus on my own game, I guess, if that makes sense.
Right. So, in your opinion, what team do you relate better to, or do you feel more comfortable as an athlete in?
It's a difficult question, I think. I really enjoy the fact that I can be, a bit more of a leader on the high school team. That's definitely something that I see myself as. However, I think that in terms of developing as a player, and developing my skills, I think my club team has been a lot more useful in that. My high school coach is great, but he's not a specific soccer coach, right? Like, he does all the other different sports, whereas the coach for my club team is geared towards, he actually played professionally before.
Right.
All the players are at my level. I think it pushes me a little more than where I can not play at my best in high school and still be one of the best players.
Ah, I see. So you've also probably put a lot more time, your own personal time, into your club league also, probably.
Yeah,
practice and skill development and everything.
Oh yeah, absolutely. High school we do maybe a practice and a game a week.
Right.
In club we do at least 2 practices a week and then a game, and then generally we'll have tournaments on at least 1 weekend every month, and then during the winter it's we do 2 or 3 training sessions.
Yeah.
So a lot more time invested in the club, definitely.
Awesome. Okay, so my question for you then is, moving forward, how do you see soccer as part of your future life at college, university, in Canada or the States? What are you thinking in terms of that?
That's something I think I've really been struggling with. I love soccer and I really want to play it. And I would love to continue my participation, continue to play at a high level wherever I choose to go to school. I guess I'm a little worried that I see myself as a good player, but I don't know if I'm exactly have what it takes to become professional. And is it worth investing so much time into a sport when ultimately it might just end, or at least my elite participation might just end after university? And could I invest my time into getting better grades and actually working towards a more possible career? So I'm having a bit of trouble figuring out if it's worth me doing to sacrifice the other side of academics and social life to pursue soccer that might be a dead end in the end.
So that's really interesting. That's something that I deal with a lot as a sports psychologist. So I meet a lot of athletes, especially around your age, that are trying to make this decision that their life has been centered around sport for so long, and they're trying to figure out if that's what they want to put in their center of their life in the future. So I guess I think that one thing that a lot of people deal with is, you play, especially in your club, when you're dealing with all the same athletes all the way growing up, and then all of a sudden you're exposed to all these new players from all over, Canada or the States or wherever you decide to go. I think it comes down to the athlete thinking of themselves as more than just a soccer, taking a holistic approach to your sport, looking at yourself as more than just the athlete, because to be a part of a team, you have to think of so many more factors. And it sounds like you've had a chance to have a leadership role in the past. I think that's something that definitely is transferable into the future. Is there certain things that you're apprehensive about specifically when it comes to pursuing sport in post-secondary, other than, of course, balancing social and your academic life also?
I've always sort of been a really nervous person going into new, unfamiliar situations. Mm-hmm. So whenever I try out for new teams, I really get uncomfortable when I don't know very many people. Mm-hmm. So, I'm really in my element when I'm moving up, with most of the same players through the years, you're going through the system, knowing everyone, knowing the coach, because I feel that I show my talent best when I'm comfortable and like in games and things like that. Whereas during unfamiliar tryouts, when people are seeing me for the first time, I get really nervous, and I'm very much worried that going into this new situation, mm-hmm. if I even if I decided to try out, that I wouldn't perform as well as I think I could, and that the other players would be performing better than me. Mm-hmm. And so I think my nerves could get the best of me in terms of tryout, and then I might just not make the team because compared to the other players, I might not seem as talented as they are, especially playing as a defender. Mm-hmm. You don't get the opportunity to showcase as much skill, and it's all about positioning, and I don't even know if the coach would notice those things. So
yeah. So from my understanding then, you kind of take your role as an athlete and kind of comparatively look at how you fit into a team.
Yeah.
So I think something that we should talk about for your future performances, maybe just having confidence in your own specific abilities, and it's more than just the technical skills of soccer, which clearly you have experience with and have those skills if you're made it this far so far. But I think that what we need to identify are some of the other factors that your teammates, that how they think of you, and then you take that to heart, and when you go out into those tryouts, you have to say to yourself, like, this coach doesn't know me as a person, but what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show the coach, what I can bring to the team. And sometimes it's just pure luck if you have a good team, especially when you're coming into university sport. So it's my understanding also that you experienced an injury throughout your career. Is that right?
Yeah. So about a year and a little bit ago. Mm-hmm. I had a pretty bad calf injury. I got cleated, like a slide tackle, into my calf, and it bruised and tore a bit. So I was out for a good half of the season, and that was definitely tough, just because I did see myself as a really important part of my club team, and to not be able to be there to support them was hard. And then when I did get back, I wasn't at that same level, and I've been trying to get back to that, and I think I definitely think I'm close to it, if not there, but I still do have these doubts in my mind. I'm a little cautious when I'm going in for tough tackles.
Right.
That it happened once, it could happen again, and if it happens again, that could that's the end of it. If I don't make the team in the first year because of an injury, I'm probably not going to make it again.
So that's definitely a huge concern. So coming back from an injury is always really hard, especially when you're your body's been able to perform just exactly how you want it to for so long. From what I understand from watching you play and from talking to your coach and everything, is that you really are back at the level that they expected you to be at, in terms of recovery, and you took the time to go to rehab and do it right, which is great, because so many people your age will just rush that whole process. So I think that you should be confident in your abilities, in terms of you've taken the time to recover properly, and your coach has identified that, your trainer has identified that, so that's definitely something that you shouldn't be as worried about. Do you feel that you think that it's going to affect your tryout performance? maybe you're a little bit unconfident in your